guys, I am Dr. Chandray and better known as the Healing Neuron on Instagram, and I am a 2020 graduate from Not TMC Medical College and Indira Hospital, Delhi, and currently I am waiting for the counseling process. So this video I have decided to dedicate to every single person who is either preparing for NEET or has prepared for NEET and is currently in a very weird, is in between the lines. You're in the between the blurred lines. You don't know what to do, if you have to prepare for your next exam, or if you want to sit and wait and see how counseling unfolds. And so it's just dedicated to everybody. It's also dedicated to the PG first years who have been working as first years for a really long time, and I hear all of you, and I'm one of you, and I just really wish I could do something, but the only thing I can do is rant about it or make it better for the future generation. So I'm here to talk about something about my drop year, and which is still going on. We don't know anything about it yet, but the drop year that I went through, I want to talk about that drop year and the mistakes I made, so that for anybody who's starting out, they do not make the same mistakes, or they are aware of the mistakes that can be made in the future and are well prepared for them. So in March 2020, I decided that I would take a drop so that I could get my dream branch in my dream college. So now initially, I was at the peak of my performance. I finished Derma in 3 days, and I was taking tests, and I was getting 95 percentile, 98 percentile in all these tests. And then next I started with surgery, and I took 8 days to finish all the surgery videos in Marrow. I finished the Q bank. I finished most of the Q banks, and I gave tests, and the same, I was getting 92 percentile, 95 percentile, and I was like, this is not hard. Why do people keep cribbing about it? This is easy. And mind you, it had just been 2 weeks of my prep starting. And I'm like, this is just damn easy. I'm just gonna flow right through it, and this is not that hard. I'm too smart for this. This is what I thought. Now, I don't know, I want you to like or comment or do anything just to give me a feedback, or let me know that you relate to this particular section, that I had not considered this whole journey to be a marathon. I was pretty good at the 100-meter sprint, but I had not considered that there was actually a 20-kilometer marathon ahead. And I was pretty good at the initial part of it, but I didn't know that there are a few things that you still have to keep in mind while working for such a long period of time. And that is, I think, where I faltered, that having not taken a drop year before, I did not know how a drop year functions. And that is very, very important. You have to know how a drop year functions to have a very successful drop year. Now, after all of this had happened, I was slowly forgetting the things that I had read earlier, and then I also picked up a subject that I don't like that much, and that was anatomy. So I couldn't match with the pace with which I started, and now I feel like there was this time when things started going there was a slight time down. And mind you, the lockdown had also started during that time, and I didn't see myself finishing anatomy in 15 days as I had planned. And I was scoring so poorly even in the question banks, which in hindsight I later realized that the question bank is not just a testing tool. It is also a tool from where you learn things, because there are a lot of things that can't be incorporated in the videos or whichever platform you are studying from. So they help you to learn that in the form of a question, and so that it can be retained better. There are a few things that you can't just learn by reading. You can learn them via active recall, that is performing a question on it. So, but in my mind it was something I hadn't read, and I found that as my own fault, or I would blame the platform that I was studying from, that why did they not teach us this? Why did they put this in the Q bank and not teach us this? If they taught us this, I would have scored better in the Q bank. So that is, I personally feel now that that is not the way all the time. Yes, definitely, if there is a stark difference between the Q bank and the module, uh, the platform should make sure that they have either mentioned something about it, or there should be a disclaimer by every platform. I don't know if there a disclaimer exists, that not everything that has been taught in the classes is going to be there in the Q bank, because that is also how a test works, right? That is also the final test works. Not everything you read will be there in the main test. There'll be things that come from here and there. So just so that new questions don't come at you by like they just don't come and hit you like a truck. There will always be new questions everywhere. So okay, now back to the story. A month has passed, and I'm still bad at anatomy. I've almost forgotten surgery and derma, and I gave my first grand test. Let's not even go there. So I scored a 50 percentile in that grand test, and that is where, you know, to be honest, I think that is the very moment that if I was given the choice, I would go back and restart. Or that would be the point where I go back and I tell myself to do things differently. Because from that, there was this domino effect of negative patterns where I was blaming the platform, I was blaming the teacher, I was looking for new sources, not believing in my own self, not believing that this all is a part of the journey. And my first reading isn't my golden reading. I will come back to it. I'll learn, I'll keep on learning. So, this is not the final thing. But I did not, even though I knew it at that time, I still did not know it at that time. And I was thinking of other options, like let me go and do USMLE. Is it better though? I would have just prepared for lab, and then searching on the internet for like countless days, just to find something that would satisfy that that torment in my heart. I also came across the idea of like making flashcards and Anki, which you could see in the beginning of my Instagram profile, where I've talked about all of that. Now, there's something that I'd like to mention that I think a lot of people relate to. Knowing something is good for you is different than doing something that is good for you. Like, I know that this XYZ method is good for me, but there is this weird period of uncomfortable feeling. There is that learning curve that I do not want to go through to know this new method. And I think that is where this competition also matters. There are a lot of people who will act on those things. They will apply those good techniques, or they will keep on refining their techniques. And there are a few people, myself included, who know that that this particular technique exists and I have to use this, but I'm so attached to my old techniques that I don't pass that uncomfortable feeling and that learning curve to know the new technique. And that is where a lot of people fall out, like a lot of people fall back because of that. And there's another thing as well, that you may know about this good technique, you may know about the fact that the Q bank is not meant to test you, the Q bank is also a learning source. You may know that after giving a grand test you're supposed to review it, and you're supposed to only focus on the mistakes and the guesses you made. But that is a very ideal situation, and ideal gases don't exist, so why should ideal situations exist? That's a good line. The thing is that I knew that a lot of good techniques existed. I knew I had to make flashcards. I knew that I have to get up every day and review my Anki cards. But the motivation to do it just required a little more serotonin than I probably had at that moment. And obviously, it was not all struggles, I would. But the thing is that I had this particular pattern and there was this vicious cycle. So, like I'd start a subject because we all love a fresh start, even though the previous subject is not finished, which is, I think, completely okay. And then go through its videos. While I'm going through its videos, there is this constant battle in my head that, am I doing the right thing? Am I studying the right way? Am I reading something that is important in the exams? Am I giving too much time to something that is not that important? Am I studying smartly? Am I just being a donkey? And why is this taking so much time? Why can't I finish my daily targets? Why can't I review my Anki cards? Why am I not finding the time and will to do it? And why am I 42% better than 42% of my peers? And I just spent 3 hours studying this topic. Why am I only getting these many questions correct? Why are my grant tests such a disappointment? Is this how the real test is going to be? And that's the thing, right? You have to review the grant test. You've seen so many videos out there on the internet. You know that the QBank is not just a testing tool, it is also a reviewing tool. It is also a learning tool. You know all of this. And I think that is also where the difference comes in, that there are people who know this and who act on this, and there are people who know this and let their emotions get better of them. So when you look at all of this from a very emotional point of view, it acts as a barrier for further progress. Just know that progress is comes out as a sum total of a little bit of more uncomfortable situations than comfortable situations. I remember that I'm saying the sum total. You don't have to be in an uncomfortable situation all the time, but the sum total of all the situations should be slightly towards the more uncomfortable side, because that is where progress comes through. And when you see that the progress is not going to the way you thought it would, that is when you feel like you're going through a burnout. It's not quite a burnout, but it seems like a burnout. This part of the video is absolutely extempore, without a script. So this is it about this video. Actually, this is all that I had to say, and all a little rant about my prep year and things that I wish somebody had told me about. That this is how this is how a drop year functions. This is how you will feel. The drop year will not be a bed of roses. At the same time, it will not just be a bed of thorns. And I think this year, what made it worse was the postponements. I think it affected the performance of a lot of students, including me, and it also affected a lot of students' performance in a good way. So, there are both sides of it. To ask me for tips, I just feel I'm not qualified enough to give anybody tips on how to, get the best rank, how to utilize your drop year to the fullest. I think the internet is full of them, and you should definitely uh, take all those information with a pinch of salt. The whole purpose of this video was to tell you all that I've been there and I've gone through this. And if you see that any of your negative patterns or any of your mistakes have been mentioned here, so from someone who has just gone through it, accept that it is a mistake, accept that you might be on the path of a mistake, and try to change it. Because as I said, the competition does not just start at the time of the exam. It starts from your day one of preparation, how you put yourself in front of the other competitors, And obviously people say that the best competitor is yourself, and which is true, but there are a lot of things that matter in this exam which also affect the competition as well. People's nerves before the exam, people's mental health before the exams, that also sets apart a lot of people. Um, and yeah, I think that is it for this video. I have just recorded YouTube video after a very very long time, and I'm just like testing waters here. So you can let me know if you like this video, and I will try to come up with more things and more information, more preaching sessions, more sermons, and mm, just trying to be a senior for a lot of juniors who never really had somebody to tell them about all of this. So yeah, and that's it for this video. I hope all of you have a good day, and you can check out my Instagram profile if it's linked there. I also have a Discord study group, and is it called a group? No, it's a server. I have a Discord study server. I have a Telegram group. You can also go through my old videos. I have a lot of live streams there, which I was streaming during my prep phase. So you can go through them, and if they help you, you can use them as study with me videos. For people asking if I will be streaming again, I definitely don't see myself doing that until the counseling results are out and I make a further decision in terms of what I have to do academically in the future. So that's all about this video, and you can definitely ask me anything in the comments below, and I think I will awkwardly just end the video here.